We're gonna start it off with just the normal, man. How y'all week was, man. Everybody, how mental health check in with the brothers. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it could be a stressful week, brother. That's why I'm checking in on brothers, man, making sure, you know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers fall victim. Fall victim to the 14th.
I ain't do much Valentine's Day celebrating, man. Me and the wife did it this year. Intentionally, I mean, we discussed it. But I did take my daughter to the Valentine's.
Wait, y'all wives didn't take y'all out?
Yeah, I heard.
No, it was leap year.
Yeah, leap year.
Is that what's supposed to happen?
Leap year, the wives supposed to take the husbands out.
Why I'm just hearing this after it's over?
I'm just hearing about that.
Man, so once every 4 years, yeah.
I had a good time.
What'd you do?
I did couples yoga. It was exotic yoga.
Exotic or erotic?
Erotic or
Exotic.
however you.
Well,
it was
I had a topic, but you just bringing them up. Now, go ahead, brother. Speak.
Yeah, so we was in the studio, dance studio. It's about like 15 couples, and it was less stretching and more sexing. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
So we said,
Put on a t-shirt.
I just made it.
Less stretching, more sex.
So it's more about intimacy and connection. So it starts off, you sitting back to back, and she was like, all right, now imagine a situation where your wife please you and your husband please you, and think about it. Now turn it sexual. Yeah, so it was a lot of feeling, a lot of touching, a lot of hugging, kissing,
Right,
and
yes, we good on that.
it was like trying to get intimate. It was very. You got to be married for some years to feel comfortable in it, because it was like old people in there, like they was like in their 50s.
Was it like
older people?
Was it like kiss for 15 seconds? Was it like odd shit like that? Like,
Nah.
That sounds like Truth or Dare.
I mean, but you know
so they did what's called pleasure mapping, and what pleasure mapping is you touch the left side of your body and you kind of touch those sides, and you touch different spots of the body, going from head all the way down to toe, so that the significant other can understand where she found or he found pleasure.
Oh.
So they'll do we did that. We did a lot of massaging around the groin area, massaging down the leg, doing different techniques.
So no langum?
Nah,
No langum?
You know, like, hey, at first I started to kind of get a little starting growing out. I was like, oh wait, hold on, there's people around here.
A little tantra.
Yeah, I was about to say that's exactly what that is. That's
That
tantra.
sounds like
Man,
something.
Would you stare in each other's eyes, breathe together? Did you do any of that?
Yeah, we did staring each other's eyes. We did a lot of hugging, a lot of grinding. It ended off in the wife doing like a little dance, like a little grind dance. And
I was again.
Was she grinding on you? Was it dry humping? It wasn't dry.
yeah, it was dry humping.
There's people in the room. You don't care. Just whip it out.
But you know what? It was so intimate that all the other people kind of faded away after a while. Like you kind of got used to it. So you kind of at first you kind of look to your right, look to your left, like what they doing.
What's going on with the fire, bro?
But after a while, you kind of get used to it, and it was actually a pretty interesting experience. Like I said, you can't just be first date, jumping that thing, do first date, you feel awkward. But you've been doing it for a while, and folks in there, you can tell they've been married 20, 30 years. It was a couple of folks in there that was young like us, like in their 30s. And we had a good time. You definitely left ready to put it in. Get ready to get it in. You definitely left horny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Trav, you want to go ahead and I'll go get the sauce. Go ahead and talk about your You want to talk about your week? Your week was straight. You cool?
Yeah, went to a jazz spot after too.
Oh, nice.
It was called Cajun Blues,
Okay.
and so they had seafood. So we had like a crab boil, as with a jazz band playing in the background. The jazz band pretty good. They was actually pretty talented people.
Gotcha.
And then after that, we went home and got romantic.
There it is. That's love.
Yep.
Valentine's Day is all about.
That's what it. Trav, your Valentine's Day was smooth.
Yeah, man. We didn't really do much, man. We stayed around the house, man, and since Valentine's Day was on a week, Troy did that on the weekend, so weekday, and when you got 3 kids running around, you try to get it in when everybody's asleep, And so, I took the daughter to the her school. She's 3 years old, so took her to her school Valentine's Day dance. And so she was super excited about that, man. It's always good for a dad to show the daughter love so she could know who she need to get involved with later on, you know what I'm saying? So show her some stability so she won't have instability later on. And so I got an opportunity to take my daughter out and, dance with her and take her to a Valentine's Day celebration. After that, it was pretty light. We came back home, got the kids ready for bed, and romance later on that evening. But it was a pretty light Valentine's Day for me, man. And didn't keep it. Oh, one other thing I did, my son got a new girlfriend.
Oh.
He probably gonna watch this podcast. So I'm gonna put his business out on the street.
Oh, dang.
And so he decided that he wanted to do a TikTok glitter roses. You ever heard of glitter roses? So man, let me tell you what glitter roses are, man. So they buy real roses, like real fresh roses.
Sounds expensive.
And then they spray adhesive, like spray glue on the roses, and they dip it in glitter. And to be honest with you, I was skeptical at first.
I think I've seen that.
But when he whipped it out and he said, "Dad, look what I came up with," I said, "Bro, man, she gonna like that, man, cause it came from the heart. It's arts and crafts, man. It took your time to create that, man." So he went there. He gave it. He said she loved it. He came home. She spent big money on him though. He had.
Oh, dang.
He had a tennis bracelet on.
Oh, dang. No.
He had cologne, and it was in like this black velour bag, like, you know what I'm saying, like it was. Like it was in a Rolex bag.
Boy, what grade is that boy in?
Boy, 8th grade, man.
8th grade? Dog, my daughter's in the 7th grade, and I'd be damn. I ain't buying no nigga no bracelet.
Now I feel like I need to call my daughter who's in the 8th grade too. Be like, hey, Tara, did you get somebody something for Valentine's Day? Yeah. And what was it? I thought you were still passing out little Snickers.
Yeah, you be surprised, man. These kids now, man, they grow up faster than we ever did, man. They got a lot more influence. Mm-hmm. They not outside playing football in the street like we did. They got exposure in the name of TikTok, YouTube, IG.
Just the radio.
A lot more influences.
A lot more influences on them, man. So it's crazy out there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, appreciate y'all boys joining us today for the Brofire, man. Tonight is gonna be a good one. It's an action-packed joint. We're gonna kick this one off. We're gonna talk about health and wellness. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about health and wellness and its importance, not only in your relationship, but also in work. Gotta keep a healthy mind. Gotta keep your mind, body, and soul pure so you can be at your best during the day, I believe. You know what I'm saying? To maximize your potential and productivity at work. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing in your marriage. If you keep your mind, your body, and soul pure in marriage, you should be able to maximize the longevity and maximize the potential out of that marriage. To take it a little literal, I was telling Travis I had a little situation. This last week with my wife, man, where you know, I basically asked, I said, hey, baby, you know, let's go out to the park today. You know what I'm saying? Let's take the baby to the park today. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be active. I want you to get active today. You know, let's go do something. And she just started snapping on me, saying I was being passive aggressive. While I say was really on my mind, if I feel like she ain't fit or help. And I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like, you bugging, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, you don't want me to be aggressive with it. Like, trust me, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want me to be like, you know what I'm saying? You know, you just don't want me to be aggressive with it at all, you know?
Was that what you were trying to convey though? Like, hey, I need you to exercise?
Nah, I was just saying let's go move. Like let's just go do
active,
something.
yeah.
Like let's get into some motion, you know what I'm saying? Like we've been chilling, sitting around, let's just go do something. Wasn't that directed at my baby's 2.5 years old, so she ain't understanding what I mean by, you know, all she hears is parking. She's ready to go anyway. You know what I'm saying? She's thinking slide and swing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was talking to Rhea because that's, you know, just, hey, baby, you know what I'm saying? Let's go be active. Let's get, you know, I want you to get in motion today. Nothing crazy, but she took it a little sideways. And then, you know, to make matters worse, she didn't want to give it up. You know what I'm saying? She wanted me to get aggressive with it. You know what I'm saying? And then I told her she wouldn't want me to get aggressive with it because then she would later on hold that against me. As we know these women would do, right? And basically, you know what I'm saying, that health and wellness situation right there turned all the way left. Now, granted, she thought about it for a little bit. She came back to me and she was like, hey, baby, you know what I'm saying, I kind of need to get my stuff together. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You weren't being passive-aggressive type shit, you know what I'm saying? And that was cool. I'm cool with that, you know what I'm saying? You just, you know what I'm saying? You just, for argument's sake, you know what I'm saying? Just let's cut the bull, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be real with me about something, be real with me about something, you know what I'm saying? But if I felt like calling you out your name in a way that was, you know what I'm saying, aggressive, you know? And when I say out your name, I don't mean like the B word. I mean like just calling her fat or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, then, you know, you wouldn't like that. She wouldn't like that. You wouldn't like that. You would, you know what I'm saying? You would be trying to not give me no poontang later on, saying, oh, I'm self-conscious now because you think I'm this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
It's a
I
deeper conversation, bro.
It's so deep.
Yeah.
Because I think the topic that needs to be discussed first, health and wellness, but how do you communicate health and wellness to your loved one? Because, you know, we all, maybe not you, Hoyt, because Troy and Hoyt girls are genetically strong. Let me just say it like that. Like, you know, y'all, well,
So it's,
I mean, by genetically strong is that, like, they really thin. Like, y'all have
They got strong genes.
strong
like,
genes. Like,
Yeah, they can stay
and
here.
our wives
They
have
sound
strong
like
genes,
bodybuilders
but
over
I
here.
just like them. I like them thick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, that's just how I like it.
I like them thick too. Like, I ain't mad at her being a little thick. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at
But
it.
can they be too thick?
No, I don't think you could ever really be too thick. I think you can be to the point where it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
Where you're going to the doctor's office, you know, not putting my wife's business out there because she's not going there getting, you know, she ain't taking no medication. But there's people out there that ain't moving their body, saying they want to get themselves together. Meanwhile, they can go to the doctor to get some medication because they got something this wrong or something that wrong, and it's all dealing with the diet and exercise, 90% of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, everything to me, I can't say it's preventable because some stuff is hereditary. You know what I'm saying? But, you know.
Yeah. I think, but everything's all relative to the person. Like Travis saying, Troy and I, wives are thinner, but just because someone else sees them as thin doesn't mean they see themselves as thin as always. So with my girl, she's like, you know, yeah, she's tall, she's thin, she likes to wear like tighter dresses and something like this. But she's like, hey, if you ever see my belly out in the street, let me know if it's out there. I need to know. And then I was like, all right. One day I was like, hey, baby, It's kind of out there. It's like, I can't believe you told me that. I was like, you actually told me to tell you that if it happens. And like, I mean, she's like, does it look bad? I was like, no, it doesn't look bad. I mean, you're still smaller than the majority of Atlanta, but I know you wanted to keep yourself at a certain standard, and you told me to help you get there. I don't think it's bad, but I know what you're looking for yourself. Right. So it's always like, let me know, but if you let me know, then why are you letting me know? So it's always the catch. And if I don't tell her, she look at me like, why you didn't tell me I look like this? Well, last time I did. She's like, you supposed to let me know. I'm like, so.
So I think that's.
I think, well, first, my wife don't work out. She does yoga, and that's about it. And
we heard about the yoga already.
She does traditional yoga.
Traditional yoga.
And she don't really work out, but she's like you said, she stays thin just because of genetics. When I think of health, I kind of thought of it differently. I did think about physical health, and I think physical health is very important. But then you also got mental health, which I think, even though my wife is physically sound from a mental and emotional standpoint, those two health is always a work in progress for us. So I do think health is very important. Like, it's at the top. So I think I talked to Travis. Travis told me, typically in a marriage or in a family, even in an organization, you got your health, you got your wealth, and you got your relationships. And those are the three components really in a marriage. I think that came from Russell Brunson.
Yeah, he was talking about marketing, but then we kind of
just extended it to just organization in general. And we mentioned that in that order because health is at the top. If you ain't healthy from a mental, physical, emotional standpoint, then all the other things, the relationships and the wealth, will struggle. Think of it like going to a airplane and airplane starts to go down. The first thing they tell you is put the mask on yourself first before you put the mask on your loved ones, because you got to be healthy in order to save them.
Yep.
And I think that's like really important. For us, like I mentioned, I on the health standpoint, from a physical standpoint, I go to the gym every day. I'm getting on the stream on the health, like counting calories, going to the gym, running, working out, and over the last, I would say, 2 or 3 months, we've been really extreme on it, more so than a lot of people in general. But I do think that if we're gonna say health, then we gotta talk about emotional health, mental health,
and spiritual health.
Spiritual health.
Spiritual health for sure.
Health as individuals, as husbands, but then health as a family, and then health as a holistic community. And I think all those play a part in a healthy relationship altogether.
I would agree.
Trail, they're getting deep.
I'm getting deep. Why? Hey, look, the smoking and drinking do it to your time.
But nah, I agree with you. I think the spiritual health is something that we all can grow in. I think, there's a lot of people that, like you go to the gym every day, you're getting healthy, that 0.1% every day, you're getting your body right and getting in shape and all that, and you're actually working out your brain as you're working out your body. Your brain's working out, your heart's working, so all that's coming together. I think that spiritual one is a hard one for people to really do. I can't tell you how many times I walk into the food court at Lennox or somewhere, and don't nobody pray before they eating their food from the food court. You know what I'm saying? I'm praying, especially when I get my food from the food court. You know what I'm saying? I don't eat fast food, so you know what I'm saying? I don't, I like it when I can see my food getting cooked. You feel me? So I just think that spiritual part, that connectivity, is very serious, and it's a piece that most people, they lack for whatever reason. They have that, and that's just a small piece, praying over your food. Really, that's a very small acknowledgement. You know what I mean? We're talking about, really trying to build your health in a way where you're, living like trying to live through Christ, you know? And again, that falls into the marriage as well, where you're trying to build your marriage up through Christ in the way it should be in a Christian way.
Yeah, I think that we start talking about like physical health, then you can't have one without the other. Like to go to the gym and do it consistently over time is a mindset. Like, so that's your mental health feeding into the physical health. And so a lot of times we end up in a situation where a lot of people have to work on first their spiritual, then mental, and then physical in that order and prioritize it. There's a lot of times where, we ask some people around this fire, to go to the gym with us. And then when they're like, hey man, my asthma ain't gonna get in the way, then we like, man, those excuses. And this was said by the same person around the fire. Our tools and company built up millions of nothingness. Those who use them seldom amount to anything, big brother, sir. And so we start talking about.
I mean, this
boom, boom.
is a big part of working out.
It is a big part of working out. I'm giving. I was just joking.
Or you get that call like, hey, Hoy, you want to go to jail? When y'all about to go? In 10 minutes. Really? 10 minutes?
Sometimes that's how it be.
Yeah, but no, I'm just messing around. But
I'm starting back on Monday.
But I mean, it's hard to, because you got competing priorities, right, in life. Like there's times where you may have, as business owners, man, we may work long hours, 12-hour days, and it's hard to get to the gym. There's other times where we may not be working, but we just feel like Netflix and chilling that day and don't go to the gym.
That's a helps out with mental health.
I'm saying, so that's a mental block and not a physical block. To get to the gym at all is simply a mentality. You know what I'm saying? And so when you start thinking through the health, they're not all mutually exclusive. There is not spiritual, mental, and physical in their own silos working independently of one another. They're all interconnected with one another, and you got to grow all of them in order to do one of them.
Yeah, for me, just to give a backstory, from a physical standpoint, I was probably at an all-time low in 2018. And 2018, I got sick. I mean, you all know, but I got sick 2018. I had blood clots in my lungs, both lungs, pulmonary embolism. And we're not sure where it came from, but it may have been sitting around the computer long periods of time. And when you sit or at spots for long periods of time, you get blood clots. And I can remember during that time, it was actually February 2018, so it was exactly 6 years to the day. And I can remember barely getting up after I got up from the hospital, barely getting up and walking to the mailbox. Couldn't get to the mailbox. And couldn't get up the stairs first couple of days. And that was as you mentioned, Travis, sometimes to help you, you gotta go to those traumatic experiences.
Gotta sit you
say,
down.
Hey, I ain't going back there.
Mm-hmm. He sit you down for a second.
Yeah, God's telling you something here.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get your mind right, get your health right, and that's on all levels, and really take time away from business and focus on that, because that should be first priority. So now, if somebody say, hey, Troy, you got a meeting, Chasman say, Troy, you got a meeting during this time, and this is my gym time, I'm like, hey, they gotta wait. We do that tomorrow. Because I know how important it is after I got sick to stay healthy inside as an individual, and then expand that out to the family and community.
And I love how this topic came up because, well, I brought it up, but it's just kind of moving into something else. And it's moving into something where it's making me think about investing and reinvesting in yourself, in your marriage, and in your business. You got to do it. You got to do it all. You know what I'm saying? What would explain some of the importance of reinvesting in yourself? We talk, and especially in your marriage, like how much do you invest in your marriage? What is investing in your marriage to you? It's some people like Drake would probably say it's an American Express card or whatever. Some people they don't know how to show love other than what they buying it, right? Buying gifts or whatever the case may be. They don't know nothing else. But is that really investing in your relationship? Is that really investing in your marriage? Now, sometimes just a financial thrust can propel your business. Yes, I do believe that for sure. You know what I'm saying? It'll allow you to do some things that hopefully you can manage that well and propel your business to another level. But I don't think you can do just the same in a marriage. You just can't throw money in your marriage and think that your marriage is going to be successful. You've got to take time and invest in certain things. Health and wellness was one that we just mentioned. What else do you guys think is investable?
So, for me, when you think about investment, I'm going to just do parallelisms between entrepreneurship.
Yeah, do it,
family,
please.
Yes. Brofire, that's what Brofire is all about. And entrepreneurship, you got your financial investment. But then you got your investment of resources, right? So in entrepreneurship, I look at advisorship, getting the knowledge from advisors, getting the knowledge from third parties as an investment towards the business, right? Because the purpose of an investment is to get it to grow. Like, how can I use these resources, whether it be knowledge or whether it be financial, to be able to grow as a company? Likewise, inside a marriage, you have to do the same thing. So of course you can invest financially, which is known, but then you got to figure out ways to use resources to be able to invest in your family. So for us, for my family, that is looking at different advisors, so to speak, just as you would in a business. It could be a pastor to invest in spiritually. Oftentimes we do Bible study here at our house on Wednesdays. If y'all all invited. Me, Travis, Papa J, we sit around the table and literally discuss the Bible every Wednesday at 6 p.m. We started to look at therapists, right? Because we noticed that, hey, you got an advisor, so you got, just like in the business, you can be able to get advisorships, and those are
in our kids, you know what I'm saying? We're investing in people that's coming up with us. And so when I think about investment, I like to keep it in those buckets of, the people that's my mentors, the people that I get advisorship from, my peers. I invest in myself and my wife, who's my peer in my marriage, and then invest in those who I need to bring up with me, my children. And so from an investment standpoint, I like to think of it as you putting in some, and this is my engineers talking, you putting in some input to get a greater output in the future as an investor. And you can get that through knowledge, right? I can invest in myself by constantly self-learning. I like to tell my wife, we got to build a culture of learning in our household, right? When you start getting older kids like me, Alan, and Hoyt have, you start realizing they can have an anxiety towards learning, right? And that's a problem because you got to be a lifelong learner in order to get the fruits of your labor later on, because learning builds the skills. You invest now with the skills of learning that builds skills so that later on you can capitalize on those skills. And so me and Troy was downstairs and we was editing some shorts and reels, and we had Dylan watch us look over our shoulder. Hey, learn some skills, man. I'm investing in you because that investment.
He finna be behind them.
He about to be behind, to be on the switchboard, man, And we offered to pay him.
He said no? Did you offer or you will?
We offered to pay him. How much we offered him?
$20 a reel.
And how many reels did we have set up for him?
30.
We said, man, we'll give you $600. How many? I asked him, I said, bro, how many kids making $600?
He was excited about it.
He was excited, but didn't make not one reel though yet.
He started immediately. We told him he started testing his girlfriend on the phone or whatever he was doing.
Like, babe,
Man, that love sometimes getting your weight out. That love getting you.
That's why she bought that tennis bracelet. She thought she was ready.
Baby, I'm gonna get you a purse this time.
I'm a sugar mama.
She went and got him a bracelet thinking she was about to come up.
No, go ahead.
So I was going to talk about investments in relationships. So as entrepreneurs, you have to know every aspect of your business. So for it to work correctly, you have to know every aspect. So in your relationship, you need to know every aspect about your wife. So back at the church, the church I went to for years, I used to teach a class on the 5 love languages. And it says, this book says that there's 5 ways people experience love. There's gifts, there's acts of service, there's words of affirmation, there's quality time, and there's physical touch. Yeah. And people always think physical touch is usually sexual. No, it just might just be holding hands or just having some kind of contact with them. So my love languages are acts of service and words of affirmation. Yeah. I like for people to do stuff for me, and I like people to compliment me or thank me for my things. That's how I feel love. And the issue is, a lot of times the way people present love to others is how they want love to be presented to them. However, if your partner's love languages aren't the same as yours, it doesn't come off correctly. Like me, complimenting my wife or me trying to do things for her. I mean, she's appreciative, but that doesn't make her feel loved. And it's funny. So,
what's your wife's love language?
Gifts.
That's what we get into. That was part of the story. We get to the story. So my wife, when we met, my wife actually thought her love language was gifts because she likes getting things. But her real love language is actually quality time. What she wants more than anything is just to be there, starting a new series on Netflix, watching together, just cuddling in the bed, just being around each other. That's actually what makes her feel love. I mean, she still likes gifts and everything, so she does, as most women do. But so at first, like, she confused of liking getting gifts as feeling love, and it's not the same thing. Like, yeah, gifts are great, but what makes her feel loved is quality time. So I had to learn that. So me complimenting her, or let me help you with that, let me do this for you, she was appreciative, but it didn't make her feel loved. So just being there around her, hey babe, what you want to do? Like, I'm on the way home, I'm like, all right, you know what I want to do? I'm gonna pick up some food on the way home. That series you want to talk about on Apple TV, let's start that series tonight and see what's going on with it. So you just, like, with your business, you know every aspect of your business, you need to know every aspect of your relationship.
Yeah.
So you can invest in the product.
But let me tell you one thing I learned about.
One more thing.
Okay.
And a lot of times people will try to tell you what their love language is because that's what they feel. Like I said, my wife thought it was gift. So if you have the book, there's actually a test that it asks you questions, you add it up to see what it is. So just because someone feels something's their love language doesn't actually mean it may be that. Just like, oh, I like gifts. Or you see people on Instagram, hey, my love language is trips. No, I mean, come on. But so just sit down together, you can read the book, you can get the test online. Just so each of you know how to love each other better and in the way that they want to be loved.
Yeah, so I actually sent that, when me and my wife were dating, I actually bought her the book and sent it to her. And what I'm learning, I don't know if she read it, but here's what I'm learning. This is what I learned from my, and this is my personal experience of 6 years in a marriage, is that your love language changes with your season. So like, her love language, like my love language changed and her love language changed essentially based on the deficit, because we're the only, like right now, we're married, right? And we the only two people in the relationship, hopefully, probably. All right, and so in that case, there's some things that I'm good at, some things she's good at. And so although my love language may be acts of service.
Is that your love language?
That's my love language. That is my love language. So although my love language acts of service, if she gives me too much of it, and just like Proverbs, and this is a real proverb this time, Proverbs, it says too much honey will make you sick, right? And so what I'm learning is, what I'm deficit in, I start to yearn that stuff. Like, if I'm not getting, if it's about having knowing balance, right? So I know that 80% of it's acts of service, but I still need that 20%. And let me tell you the number one mistake men make. They start finding the 20% somewhere else.
Yep.
And they think that, oh, this is the best thing since life's career. This girl right here, she's showering me with gifts. She's a sugar mama. My wife never gave me gifts. I always had to pay for the meals. You know what I'm saying? And but then we go for the 20% and forget about the 80% that the wife was giving us. And then we F around with the other girl, and then we mess up the relationship when it really wasn't nothing but the 20%. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't worth messing up.
It wasn't worth messing up. And because you felt deficit, your love language started to change over time. And so for me, I've always stayed true to the acts of service. You know what I'm saying? My wife is different. Like, some seasons we in abundance, you know what I'm saying, as entrepreneurs. Some seasons we in the famine, dog, like straight up. And sometimes, like, I can give her more of one love language than another love language, right? So one season I may be more in the physical touch mood, and I'm, because that's her love language. Her love language is actually words of affirmation. But, the other seasons, it's I'm trying to balance it out. And if I give her too much physical touch, even though that's her love language, then she starts to think through, man, you ain't giving me enough gifts lately. I ain't seen a gift. So you really got to balance it out a little bit. Like, you don't have to have it. You got to understand 80% and with the Pareto's principle, where that 80% lives and the 20% lives, so that when she doesn't yearn and she gets a holistic view on the love language. That's just my perspective on the love language.
So, question for you. So, if your wife is giving you that 80% and you're missing that 20, how do you express to her that, hey, I need some of this 20? How would you express that?
Just tell her.
Yeah, man.
But how? Like, so if a woman feels like she's doing what she needs to do to make you happy, how could, like, it's a gentle balance, because you, like, some women, you might tell them I need this, and then they get offended because, like, well, I'm doing all of this. Why do you need this also?
You trying to get the physical touch, man? You trying to get a sloppy toppy, dog? You trying to get a sloppy toppy?
I mean, I ain't got no problem with that at all.
Nah, man, I think it's all about communication, brother. Like, this is your wife, man. Like, it took a long time for my wife to kind of come out of her shell, so to speak, in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? She's still coming out of me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's all about communication and talking. And, it don't have to be about the bedroom. It could be about anything. It's just about how you talk and communicate. Like, and look, like I said, I thought I was being cool by saying, hey, baby, let's get, like, I want you active. Let's go to the park. Let's do something together. I thought I was being, really, just kind of throwing it in there, not really saying, like, trying to say anything, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you never know when you're going to say that one piece is just they're going to take back, they're going to take it the wrong way, dog. Like, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you still got to communicate through that.
I'll tell you how I do it. Yeah, Troy, go ahead and do how you do it, and I'll tell how I do it.
Well, communication, let me give you some tactical strategy on the communication. I think the question is, how would you communicate it if you was trying to communicate?
Yeah, it's like, hey, thank you for the 80. However, I need some 22. So, yeah.
So, for me, I would communicate it in the way in which I would communicate it is observation over accusation. What I mean by that is,
did you just make up that term?
I did not. They came from.
Oh, okay, like that.
You came from who? You came from who?
Pastor.
Oh, your pastor. Okay.
So we did a section of family dynamics. So it was a month-long, of course, every Wednesday.
What church y'all go to?
Blueprint.
Where's that? It's off of Boulevard.
Boulevard. Great church, really diverse. A lot of young.
Boy, when I tell you, when you say it's diverse, it's an understatement. Like, it's by far the most diverse church I've seen in Atlanta.
We're on Boulevard.
Because, you know, Atlanta's segregated when you come out there.
If you go up Freeman Parkway and make a left onto Boulevard, it will be on your right, almost
Right before you get to
right before you get to
North Avenue.
North Avenue, like a block on North Avenue on your right. But anyway, so he said observation over accusation. So accusation is, hey, you need to do this.
That you need to, bro. I hate that you need to, dog.
You kind of directing,
When my wife tell me you need to, I hate that, bro.
But observation is, and what I noticed is, you know, this is some of my pleasure points. This is one of my love languages, this. And what I've noticed, what I've observed, this is, you know, and you kind of don't blame the person, you blame the process, right? So you're really not blaming the person, and you're just observing something that as a process that needs to be improved, and that's kind of how you handle this. The second technique is, I'm throwing some nuggets out here, and this I love this because we invest in each other, right? When we have these conversations, and then we also investing in the world, but this is a podcast, but I'm loving. The second thing is trying to sandwich it. I call it a sandwiching technique. When we learn sandwiching, I think it was pick up book on
Like a compliment set?
It was a pickup girls.
Burger technique.
Yeah.
In here pretty good as the bun, and then right in the middle, dog.
Yeah. So if you're gonna mention something that's heavy, sandwich it with two positives.
You know where I learned that from? No, it's called like a compliment sandwich. Know where I learned it from?
Yeah.
Family Guy.
Family Guy?
Yeah, Stu was like, all right, good things. Da-da-da-da. Okay, I need you this. All right, that's a good thing. So I learned it from Family Guy.
Let me tell you the best two words that I've found that really attacks the issue and not the person. Because that's what you're trying to do is you're attacking the issue and don't. Because soon as your wife feels attacked, then she's gonna
Defensive all day.
get defensive, and then she's gonna feel some type of way. And so what you want to do is, like Troy said, attack the issue and not the person. And the best two words, and I found, I'm not originating this. This is from a marriage retreat that me and my wife went 2 years ago. And they said, hey, look, the best two words you could ever use is I feel. I feel
Yes.
that.
That came from my therapy as well.
I feel that. Insert issue there. I feel that.
This made me feel.
This made me feel. And so as soon as it's not about you, it's about me, baby. You remember you're at the lake, you're at the breakup, the famous breakup line, like, hey, ain't nothing wrong with you, it's me, baby. You know, I just can't do this. But in a relationship, when you're doing the issues, it's the same thing. It's like, as long as you use I feel, do the good, sandwich it with the I feel, and then do the good again.
But you got to listen to the response, because a lot of women, they understand that, and the ones that don't care will hit you with the, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. They don't care.
I'm not gonna lie, I've done that before.
You did it because you wasn't trying to care, and that's the wrong approach. That's the wrong response to somebody telling you, trying to express to you how they feel about something that you may have done.
Yeah.
Or something that you know. So, you know, we have the first part down, you know what I'm saying? Just be careful how you respond, you know? And this goes for both men and women. But the I feel is key. Now, one thing I will say that is very key that I heard from both of you guys, didn't hear from Plight, and you ain't gonna hear from me yet, but I will be attending a marriage retreat soon, is y'all have invested in y'all's marriage with the marriage retreat.
Yeah. My first one was actually this year. It wasn't like I've been doing all along. And when I say I love that thing, it was great. It was great.
Really?
It was not as diverse. You know, it wasn't many. It was like us, like black couples. But
Yeah.
it was a marriage retreat. It was a weekend long called Wind Shape. And
Where'd y'all
Rome, Georgia.
Ooh.
And it's like off in the cut and kind of off the cut at a university, but it's really nice. It looks like something off like a fairy tale of Cinderella. Like that's how and it looks really old, traditional. The buildings have good architect design, and it was relatively affordable. Like it was $600 per couple, all inclusive.
That's affordable to you. Yeah. Do they have alcohol?
They did not. It was Christian based. So it got started by
You can drink and pray.
the founder of Chick-fil-A.
True Catholic.
True Catholic, thank you. He got started by the founder of Chick-fil-A. You know, he's Christian based. And they went to his land and said, hey, we're trying to start us things to help married couples. And this was the genesis of the wind shape. And they have different topics. The topic we went to was around God, sex, and in your marriage. So it was a combination trying to find an intersection. What does it mean to have sex, and what does sex mean from a biblical standpoint? But they also have courageous communication, which is kind of what you was alluding to with how do you communicate these items courageously, because the worst thing you can do
You stay passive.
is to stay passive and don't communicate at all.
And then it festers.
Adam, where are you?
Yep.
And it boils over.
So one of the things that Travis said, he said, Adam, where are you? Because it has this idea of what is called the spirit of passivity. This actually came from my marriage counselor. And he said that there's a story, a Genesis story, where the wife ate this forbidden fruit and it was forbidden and she wasn't supposed to do it. He didn't mention God in that case, because I think he's a counselor. He can't mention religious because he don't know my religion. But he kind of mentioned the story, and he said the husband, just allowed that to happen, and he ate the fruit. And the problem with the story is not with the wife. It's with the husband, because the husband didn't take what he's called courageous leadership over the family. And he didn't communicate with the wife and have that strong communication, and he stayed passive. He said ever since then, husbands had the problem of staying passive in a relationship.
It's true.
And it struck with me, it kind of was a revolutionary moment for me, because I started thinking about all the situations where I didn't communicate in our marriage. Like oftentimes husbands don't pray about sex, let alone talk about it. We don't.
So pray about it?
You pray about it.
Okay.
Let alone talk about it, because we think it's a forbidden thing with God, but God created it.
Once you married, it's okay.
Yeah, and we don't talk about other things in a relationship that cause conflict. And in order to have that courageous communication, you have to hit that conflict head on and talk about it.
You gotta touch the uncomfortable topics in order to be a courageous leader.
Yep.
In order to lead your family, and honestly, finances seem to be a hard topic for a lot of families to talk about.
It's very, very hard.
A lot of couples have a hard time talking about that. Like you said, sex is. It's funny how the two things that cause most divorces are the two things that are the toughest to talk truth.
Yeah, and forbidden, because we are, and I don't know how it's with your family,
Sex
but
and finances.
our families, my family, my parents, dad was married, he passed away, and then stepdad's been married with my wife and my mom for a while now, and
20 years about to come up.
Over
Come up
20
on
years.
20 year about to come up.
Oh, wow.
And so it's hard for parents to pass that on to their kids, like talk about sex. I don't know, did your parents ever talk to you about sex, Hoy?
What?
No.
What about you, Alan?
And even with my dad's inappropriate jokes, my dad never really, my dad never even had to talk with me. He just assumed one day I was having sex. So just like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom kind of sort of tried, but
You know who had more talk about sex with me than my dad? Grandma.
Man,
One
grandma,
day she gave me like a bag full of condoms. Like, whoa, grandma. She's like, hey, well, got this over at the center. So
Citizens, they know how to do
Like, I got over the
Yeah,
center. You can take this back to college.
That's one thing about grandmas is that, and we talk about like holistic, we going back to the health. Man, grandmas, bro, they have nothing to lose, bro. The first person told me that I was getting fat was grandma. I was like, hey, baby, you gained a little weight there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? She the first one.
Tell you the truth.
Like, that's gonna tell you straight up with no filter. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
I'll say this, that's exactly what we're talking about, though. It's what's necessary. It's that level of communication. You kind of, like, you know, she didn't hurt your feelings when she said it. She wasn't being, like,
A little bit.
passive.
A little bit.
I mean, she wasn't being passive aggressive, but she wasn't being aggressive.
she was just saying what was on her mind because
She
she
said what
got
she
nothing to
observed.
lose, and she
Yeah.
got nothing, and she lived life long enough to know the truth is
You
gonna
think
set you
that's-
free.
You think that's nothing to lose?
The truth. Well, I say nothing to lose, as in, like, she lived life long enough to
So
know.
you think your wife got something to lose by saying that to you?
No. I think that there is an emotional. It could come off as an emotional attack, right? So you can feel offended, dog. Like, I mean, you can easily feel offended from how something's communicated. From if she said a certain way, then it's a attack on you. If your wife came to you, and that's why I said that you need to. If my wife came to me and said, man, you need to work out, you know what I'm saying, like, and came to you and said that, then it's an attack on you and not the issue. You know what I'm saying? And so when it comes down to communication, then you want to make sure that how you communicate is important. And that's why, going back to what Hoy said, like, you got to be strategic and tactical. Now, from a grandma standpoint, she lived life long enough that her tactics and strategies went out the window. She don't give a flying, she don't care.
Right.
Because she don't have time to waste, you know what I'm saying? And so strategy matters, man. When you're coming out to communication, and just like in business, bro, when I talk to a client, I'm managing expectations. When I'm talking to my wife, I'm managing expectations.
What that boy said.
You know what I'm saying?
Expectation management over
Like,
here.
it's expectation management. Like, hey, look, and it's not like, I'm not gonna attack the client, you know what I'm saying?
Ain't gonna attack
Because if they feel attacked, then they're gonna be like, hey, look, man, it's not a good culture fit. That's what they're gonna tell me. This is not a good culture fit for me. We just gonna go a different direction. They might even tell me. And so for my wife, she's not gonna tell me that.
Tell you,
Culture fit is important, and you want to build a household where the culture of communication and how you communicate is important. And that's why it's so important, we talked about this in the last episode, to build this culture where the communication is not only expected, but is required and done at a cadence. And so it's done where it's like, here's a time where we can communicate the improvements of family, improvements of health, improvements of spiritual health, where I can say at this moment, this is a dedicated time per week, or in Hoyt's case, every other week, where we are saying, hey, look, here's where the improvements happen. I feel like for us it's a priority, like health is a priority. So like Troy, Troy been going hard in the paint. I'm there with Troy in the gym. I run probably more than Troy, man. Shoot, I ran 21 miles last week. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, get on his level, by the way.
21 miles,
Get on his level.
and these are 2 days. So I ran 21 miles morning, then my afternoons, I did my weight training. And so from that perspective, then it comes down to like, hey, look, here's the culture that I want to build in my household. I want to build a culture of positivity. And so I don't want, in the communication sense, I don't want to communicate in a negative aspect, negative way. I want to build a culture of positivity. And that's important, bro. Like, to say you getting fat, you don't have to say you getting fat.
Let me tell you how important that is, the culture of positivity. And
Somebody hit that.
it's so important because it's something that you've got to, as men, we grow up, as boys, we grow up almost not in a culture of positivity because, especially if you grow up in sports, you know what I'm saying? It's like the constant, like, do better, do better, do better, do better. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you got some positivity, but, you know, basically, you know, you ain't done enough, you know, pretty much always. You know what I'm saying? Or you ain't, you know, try to pull that cord back just so it don't get burnt up or anything. So, you know, I completely understand. It's strategic, man. It's got to be strategic. But I say that to say, it kind of took me off a little bit. I lost my train of thought there for a second. But it's for our kids, man. Bringing that culture of positive communication. I can tell you right now, my daughter, she's 12 years old, bro. And the communication from when she was just born to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, it's been like on almost a steady decline. Just because, like, you know, she's getting involved in other things that coming up, you know. Now she's 12, she got a phone, she got friends, you know. I'm trying to communicate as much as I can, and it's hard, you know. And, you know, my oldest, I only have her, but, you know, so many days out of a month, you know what I'm saying? So I try to give her as much as I can when I do have her, you know what I'm saying? And it's very difficult to continue that culture of positive communication when you might be receiving a lot of negativity. Yeah. And it may not even be like you trying to be negative, you know what I'm saying? You might be positive and they just might be getting attitude back because they turning into a teenager.
That teenager is it's a tough pill to swallow, man, as they transition into adulthood, bro.
Oh,
I ain't got that in there.
It's like you coming through your little, you know,
let me tell you,
you starting to develop, you know what I'm saying? And in the process of this development, you know what I'm saying? In the process of your development, you know, you starting to almost develop away from me.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't afford that.
I'm gonna say it like this, Al. Bro, YouTube and IG, gotta be careful because they may raise your kids, dog. They may raise, no, I'm serious, man. Yeah. As y'all get older, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok may raise your kids. And so we trying to get, like, you know, we have kids and they're older teenagers, and it's so important to start young. Me and Troy go to the YMCA, and there's this dude that in the YMCA, we call him Lil Steph Curry.
Yeah, Lil Steph.
Lil Steph.
His real name is Ace. Ace and Roy.
Lil Steph.
His real name is Ace?
His real name is Ace. Ace, his name is Roy. And so Lil Steph, let me tell you.
Shout out to Lil Steph.
Hey, fellas, just so y'all know, we been going for about 100 minutes.
Okay, we already done a round?
Yeah, we already done an hour, dog. Minimum.
Well, we started recording before we started talking, but yeah.
Man, 12 o'clock here, boy. I'm gonna see you happy birthday, bro. I'm gonna let you know. All right, so.
We're gonna shut it down at 12. We shut it down.
What time right now?
11:24.
Okay.
All right, so there's, in the YMCA, this kid, about Dylan's age, about 13, we call him Lil Steph. Lil Steph can shoot 25 three-pointers around the arc and hit about 20 of them. Am I exaggerating, Troy?
20 might be.
And so I asked Roy, his dad, and said, bro, his son real name is, we call him Lil Steph because he just got a shot. It's like, bro, how did you develop Lil Steph? And they're in the gym every single day as a 13-year-old. Like, relentless. I said, bro, how do you develop a kid like Lil Steph? He said, man, number one thing I did was start early. And so when we start talking about culture of family, just like you got a culture of business, you run your business with core values. You got to run your family with core values, man. Like, you got to have some, you know, like for me, it's like culture of positivity. You know what I'm saying? Culture of forever learners or lifetime learners, right? Because I learned that if you don't start young, it's hard to reverse that when they get older. Because they can start having anxiety, so some of the stuff that and things that you value, like learning.
Yeah, my family, in my household, it's the coolest kid is the smartest school. That's how I roll. Like, yo, go to school, Be the smartest kid. The smartest kid is the coolest kid. The coolest kid is the smartest kid. Daddy gonna make sure you fresh. You gonna have the J's on your feet. You gonna be right. You know what I'm saying? You gonna look the part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make sure you got the brains to go with it.
Yeah, I like the idea of the culture of positivity. I think for our family, our basis is biblical. So the biblical foundation is love.
Yeah.
The main truth. Love
And respect.
and respect. And
Love and respect.
love your wives.
Yep.
Wives respect your husband.
Respect your husband. You don't gotta love him, you gotta respect him.
Can we say that
You don't gotta love him, but you gotta respect him.
one more time for the people in the Bizac?
Husband, love your wives, but wives respect your husband.
What's that mean, bro?
So for me, that means that, well, first of all, and from a biblical standpoint, husbands have to love their wives the same way that Christ loved the church. And that's powerful because Christ died for the church. He died for our sins, and us to have that same level of sacrifice is damn near impossible. Yes.
When die for you, you can die.
We only can strive to be the best lovers we can be in the image of God, but we can't really meet that because it's impossible for us to do. So we're as husbands, it's the hardest things we can do because the expectation is never there. Right? It's hard to be met because we have to we try to strive to be the expectations from a godly love, but oftentimes we're just humans, we're flesh,
Fall short.
and we always fall short of the glory. So, but we always can strive, so we have to have that household, that culture of love and respect. So from a respect standpoint, the wives have to understand if you are true leaders, if we're true leaders as husbands, they gotta respect that. And if they don't respect that, you have to figure out as a leader how to resolve that conflict. Get the Curtis deep.
I mean, that's easier said than done.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost impossible.
So, especially in today's world, since well over 50% of African American children are born into single parent households. So many times, especially young girls grow up seeing their mother doing everything themselves, not having any help. So that's what they're raised to do. But then when you get in a relationship and then the man is supposed to lead the house, they've never experienced or seen a woman follow before, so they don't understand how to do it. And I'm a big example. So like my wife, mom, single mom, grew up with three girls. My wife's the youngest out of three girls. So mom had three girls, did everything she could to provide for them. Has two older sisters. The older sister doesn't have any kids. The middle sister has a son, but all of them do everything themselves. So when we got into our relationship, like she's just used to seeing women do everything herself, and I'm like, so sometimes it's been a conflict. We've butted heads before because I'm like, hey, it's my job to lead this family. Not saying that I just lead it without input of others, but I told her before, I was like, how I run my house. So everyday decisions or things that go around the house, I was like, that's my wife. Big decisions, we'll talk about it. I'm gonna give you my point of view. You're gonna give me your point of view. If we agree on it, great. If not, then in the long run, basically, if it's a big thing, I'm gonna make the decision, and that's what we're gonna do. Because I feel it's best for them, if not discounting, but I use logic for my decision. So sometimes it's a butted head because she's so used to seeing women run a household and making all the decisions. So it's just an interesting point of view.
Is this like this?
Yeah, interesting point of view. Just thinking about it, just seeing what happens in today's society, that women have to be the leader of a family, of a household, and then as they grow up, trying to bring that mindset into actually a house that has a male that wants to be the leader, that wants to lead their family?
I think for me, so just gotta give, boy, for me, I had similar issues. You know, my wife, she's alpha. She says she has, this her mouth, not mine. She says she has a lot of masculine energy. That's her, but she said. And oftentimes, if you have a lot of masculine energy, then sometimes you butt heads on in times of conflict. And especially in times where a leader is not prevalent. So she told me this, and sorry, babe, about airing out her laundry.
It's not dirty laundry, it's clean.
She said, "Hey, Troy, if I don't see you leading, I'm gonna lead it myself." Every so one time, and I took that to heart because I noticed that in certain areas of the relationship, I wasn't really leading. I wasn't really leading the relationship. When it come down to even like I was saying on the last podcast, I didn't know anything about my daughter as far as clothing and shoes.
Yeah, what shoes size she wear?
As a man, oftentimes, if I ask a lot of men, hey man, what size your 3-year-old daughter, a married man, what size your 3-year-old, 4-year-old daughter wear?
Yeah.
What size shoe they wear? What size shirt they wear? They just look at him like, hey, that's the wife's.
Or what doctor? What doctor?
You go to?
What doctor? What's your
I remember the first time I took my daughter to a doctor, and I didn't know what to do. And what's going on? I just didn't understand because I kind of left that up to Monique. But as a leader, if I got to take that role, I should have automatically knew exactly what to do, how things roll, and I delegated it to the wife as CEO or as of the relationship. She leads operations, but I still know the inner workings of how it all works. So for me, it took having a lot of conversations. I'm talking about he had to evolve. So boy, I know you just got started in your relationship, and it took me. I'm gonna say it took me 5+ years. I'm gonna just be honest with you. It took me 5 years to really fall and hone into that leadership position that I wanted it to be. And so I would say take time, continue having those conversations, continue to have communication about everything. I'm talking about, hey, what you got planned for birthdays for the daughter, or what does it look like from a cognitive load standpoint? Are you good from a mental wellness standpoint? What do you need? What time do you need to be taken out of your day to make sure you're healthy just as well I'm healthy? And all these conversations I didn't have in my first 5 years.
That's true.
And it caused a large strain in our relationship. And now I know, it caused so much of a strain, she started having mental wellness issues. It became a lot for her to take on. But as a man, I mean, I guess we're trained this way. I don't know if it's God-given. But as a man, many times we take on a very large, especially as entrepreneurship. From a entrepreneurship standpoint, we can take on a lot of burden, and we have a more logical standpoint more than emotion. And I think we're designed, and oftentimes, to really take the pressures, so to speak. And I don't want to get canceled, so I'm trying to be really specific on my words.
Be canceled. Huh? I say what you mean. Mean what you say.
We take on a lot of burden, so we're designed to do that. And in order to help resolve those conflicts between man and wife, we really have to have those ongoing conversations, talking about every aspect of her life. And she respected that. So once I started doing that and say, hey, what you think about this? What you think about that? What, you taking Free to school? Free is my daughter's name. You taking her to school every single day? You think that's going to help with your load? How can I take from that load and kind of even it out? And I start having these conversations, and that really helped throughout the course of our relationship.
Do y'all want any? I don't know if it's going. Do they usually deliver in time, Papa John's?
It's not gonna be in 30 minutes.
He says 30 minutes.
What is it, Uber Eats or something?
No, it's from Papa John's.
Is Kroger Trans? Kroger Papa John's?
Yeah, that's the one off by Kroger on Catch the
It's still open.
It says up until 1. Y'all, I mean, and get here about midnight.
I had some Wendy's on the way over because I texted if it was food and I ain't get a response.
I must be the only one that didn't eat, so I'm just gonna. It's all good. I'll figure something out when I feel.
My fault. I said I was gonna bring food.
Yeah, I thought that's food. Like I ain't getting nothing.
That's what happened in a relationship. You say you're gonna do something, you drop the ball, and now everybody's disappointed.
It's all good.
That's my number one pet peeve in a relationship.
What? Dropping the ball?
Is saying you're gonna do something and don't do it.
That's my number one pet peeve in life.
I grew up, and I tell Dylan this. I said, man, look, a deal is a deal. If I shake your hand and I look you in the eye, it is good as a signed contract for me. And so when I hear something, my wife, son, anybody, and you told me you was gonna do something, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, we're not gonna do it, then I got an issue with it, man. We gotta address that issue. You know what I'm saying? So that's my number one pet peeve, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. I mean, you can't do nothing with. I mean, you can't do nothing when anybody said they're gonna do something and they don't do it. That's just like. It's like, you can't do nothing with them. You can't get no money with them. You can't have no relationship with them. It's hard to. You can't achieve success. You can't even achieve anything. It's no achievement. You know what I'm saying? It's like. You're not gonna go too far deep into that. Anyway,
You have to trust.
Hey, you lose trust
Trust.
Yeah.
and the ability to execute.
Trust is the hardest thing to gain back once you lose it.
Yeah. So once you look,
And there's men and there's women out there that there's men who they tell them one thing and they do another thing. I mean, it's vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a wife thing. It's a male thing too. It's a human thing. Like, gotta be able to have the integrity to whatever you say you're gonna do it.
yeah, I ain't gonna lie, this Brofire. Like we've been over since my first meeting today was 5:38. The first business meeting, and I struggled to get. I went home. I ate some food. Ate 2 pizzas if I'm not hungry, sorry. Ate 2 pizzas and I was tired, boy. But then I had to remember. Man, I told all the Travis, wait on. It was all I had to get here. I'm telling y'all, because I was super tired. Travis called me up, like, where you at? Like, I'm on the way. I said I was gonna be here. I'm gonna be here.
well, you know what? Let's just go ahead then, because honestly, we need to end this thing properly. You know what I mean? We need to end this thing properly, and we've covered a range of topics. He's given the people a lot of knowledge and stuff to soak up. So if you haven't, like, comment, or subscribe, please do. Our podcast, you might want to get your little notepad out too, because we're definitely going to be giving you a lot of gems. So you might want to just be taking a few notes. Really, this is for everybody. Married people,
Single people.
entrepreneurs, non-entrepreneurs. We just trying to make sure that, we leave a legacy of information, knowledge for our family and our kids to see. They understand where we come from, who we are, and what we about. And they understand what they're about and where they come from and what they should be doing in life. So we just think that we can help. And again, this is the Brofire. I'm Alan.
Travis.
Coy.
Detroit.
And we're gonna be giving y'all some of this stuff for a little minute now. So y'all sit back, sit tight, drop some comments in there, man. What kind of questions y'all got? What do y'all want to hear us talk about, man? We talk about a lot of stuff, man. We just got so much. Some of it's a little repetitive, but you know what I'm saying? Because it all connects. That's one thing you gotta understand about this. This life is a circle, bro. It's a circle. It's like start here and then you gotta go here and then here's like the halfway point, and then you coming all the way back to where you started from again. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, we just here to give y'all some goods, and we here to enjoy each other's company because we brothers, and we love coming out here and just talking and chopping it up, having a drink, a cigar, and inviting y'all into our conversation. Peace, love, lessons.
All right.